My name is Nate Leslie, and welcome to Nate on Guitar. Yes, Nate on Guitar, the YouTube channel with really bad fluorescent lighting off of my forehead. This ain't a high dollar production here, okay? Last video for a little while that I'm going to do in the key of G, so bear with me. I know the last two videos have been about G. This one is also going to be in the key of G. We're going to talk about finger independence this time. So basically, I'm going to show you how to move your fingers around within your standard G chord shape and use that exercise to teach your fingers to move without depending on the fingers around them being able to work independently of each other, hence the term finger independence. There's a lot of different exercises you can do out there for this. This is just one way in this key to do it, and I'm sure I will make some videos on some other ways to do it in the future, but for now, G. Let's talk. All right, first thing that we are going to do in our G chord, we are going to change the note on the high E string. We're going to take this high note with our pinky, we're going to drop it down by 1 fret with our index finger. We've taken our index finger off of the 2nd fret of the A string. We can play the chord without that note anytime we want, that's fine. We're going to pick the pinky up, drop it down to the major 7th note with our index finger. These two fingers are staying anchored. You're working these two fingers, your pinky and your index finger, independently. We're going to pick both of these fingers up completely to let that high E ring out. We're going to create a little melody here. Good stuff, right? That's the easy one. We're going to move to the B string. Let's move the notes on the B string. This one, we are going to work on making our ring finger move independently. And that's one of the hardest fingers to train to do this. Start by doing that. Start by just simply having the ring finger down, lifting it off to let that open B string ring out. Takes a little bit of work because this finger does not like working separately from the middle finger and the pinky. Once you get that down, let's also incorporate our index finger again. Our index finger is a multi-tool of the G chord position. This finger does a lot of different stuff here. We'll start with the ring finger down. We're going to pick the ring finger up and let our index finger play the 1st fret of that B string. Both of them off for that open B. That's a very useful little transition. Adds a little different flavor to the chords. So far we've got and moving from, we've done the high E, we've done the B string, let's move to the G. What we can do on the G is we can add with our index finger the 2nd fret on the G string. Want to go higher than that, our pinky's going to have to do the job. We are going to take the pinky off that high E and we are going to play the 4th fret on the G. This is a little bit of a stretch if you haven't done this before. If I play the right things, obviously, that and not mess up and screw up on video, that's okay. So basically on the G string, we've eliminated the high E altogether. It's actually muted underneath the ring finger and also with this part of my middle fingers hanging over that high E to mute it. I'm going to use my index finger 2nd fret, pinky 4th fret of the G. Notice that this note that you're holding down on the 4th fret, that's a B. So that is the same exact note as your open B string. this same, these two same frets also on the D string. This is a really good exercise to get these two fingers, your pinky, which is obviously one of your weakest fingers, and your index finger to work while keeping these two anchored. Keep these two in place the whole time. Never pick them up while you're doing these 4 particular notes. So, 2nd fret of the D, 4th fret of the D string, you'll find that as you get comfortable with all these different notes within this G chord foundation, you can create whole melodies out of this. Be creative with it, you know? The more you mess around and experiment, you can come up with entire song ideas out of stuff like this if you're a songwriting type. Last but not least, you can also do stuff on this A string. You can play that C note on top of your G bass note. That's not so much a finger independence exercise as just, you know, learning how to give a little bit more flavor to your G chords. But working on this, the D string, while keeping that middle and ring finger anchored. Ring finger. Can't stress the importance of training your ring finger to move when you want it to move while keeping other notes in place. Now I'm using my alternating which strings are on. My index finger is 2nd fret of the D string, pinky on the 4th fret of the G. Then they switched. Index finger switched to the G string, pinky switched to the D. All of these little note changes that we've done can also be done on the C chord. Anyway, you can do it on your E minor chord. You have to get creative with your muting. So as opposed to playing this standard E minor shape or this E minor shape, I'm going to remove my middle finger, have my index finger mute the D string, drop the high E note just like we did on the G. 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open. Same on the C. We can play an A7 chord while we mute the low E string, with our A string being the bass note. So yeah, that's a quick look at notes that you can move around in your standard G chord shapes and how much kind of flavor and variation they can give to those chords that you probably have played a million times, and maybe you're looking for a way to spice it up. So that's something you can do. Experiment with it. There's probably more things that I didn't talk about. You know, those were all just part of the major scale. I didn't even talk about anything beyond that. So there's a lot more there to be found. So anyway, thank you for watching. I promise my next video will be in a different key than G. So thanks for watching. See you next time.